Hello and welcome to my Son de France. So today I have like a mini book in here and I'm gonna read this. This is a journal entries, and I have a few, maybe several that I wanted to read today to you guys. I'm sorry, my furnace is like working nonstop today because I didn't expect this weather to be that dramatic, but it is, and I'm not gonna be a hater, but I tried making a bookmark, but it didn't work. So I just used this paper because I accidentally put February weather here. And you can see my journal has quite a few more entries. So this is February weather, and I don't need this. This was just for the show. And I'm going to read it to you guys. That's why I put bookmark there. So Winter Olympics. This is journal entry Monday, February 23rd, 2026. Now, the Winter Olympics ended, and the blizzard people expected would hit NYC was delayed a couple months, but it was just as impactful. The weather across the eastern U.S. was very strong. Winds, thunderstorm, heavy snowfall. I had my doubts because the wind wasn't even howling and the flurries looked cute like snowflakes, but overnight the temps dropped significantly and the snow again was so dense it covered the ground again, and it's still cold, so it's staying until midweek. The snowfall on the ground. Locally in Cincinnati, Ohio, we are having winter weather with snow and sleet on Thursday. Full sun, but still chilly on Friday, and a nice break on Saturday at 61 degrees, before kicking off another gloomy week, which lingers until the end of the first week of March, which the temperatures are forecasted to be above 55 degrees, with way more sunshine, a nice welcome for spring season to kick in, which is just around the corner. U.S. tariffs were blocked by Supreme Court ruling, making zero accountability a real thing in fair trade, which is wrong, spells out greed and capitalism. But our second-term President Donald J. Trump insisted and implemented a 15% international tariff, which he actually continues to watch because he originally planned a 10% tariff, but soon threats stemming from biased news coverage popped up. So endgame, every country that is still down to import-export has been reviewed. Some have no changes. Others have been adjusted case by case, and some, alas, are seeing new tariff. Okay. This is the mini book within my journal. Now, this is titled Mencho Killing. The story is tried and true. Seems to be a red pill favorite. Man meets woman, woman lures her man into a dark world, and quicker than Adam allegedly bit that apple, within this abyss, she then further entraps him with a baby. But what if this man was Mexican and he didn't know gutter life or first world politics? She was 3 years his senior and quicker than a quince could arrive. Her family stopped farming avocados and grew beautiful flowers. These flowers are coveted around the world. They are displayed at memorials and depicted in famous paintings. Ironically, They weren't grown for their beauty. They were one of the two crops the Valencia family grew, a family notorious in California, Oregon, Texas, Illinois, North Carolina, and Maryland. And even more so, they deal dirty business, serving more Mexican states. The crops they grow, poppies and hemp, well, we're adults. Let's just come out with the facts. Her family produces marijuana and opium, enough to saturate black markets in US and Mexico with weed and codeine. But they didn't stop there. Let's talk about this Valencia family. Notorious family. Drug trafficking, human trafficking, arms trafficking, fuel theft, torture, cybercrime, smuggling, and because they also do money laundering. Rosalinda Gonzalez Valencia of the Valencia cartel is still awaiting trial, allegedly freed on the fact she has a terminal illness. She served almost 5 years out of her 10-year sentence. Now, Rosalinda Gonzalez Valencia. She is the buchona of Mencho, the subject of this mini book. They soon changed their name to Millennial Cartel from Valencia Cartel, and she enlisted him as a farmhand. They originated from Michoacan. The Valencia family moved to Jalisco, where she would become a leader. And soon, as she made the ranks, the name again changed to CJNP, and he became the leader. If you want the backstory of how he became the leader, well, he's kind of, let's just say, Tony Montana-esque, but also there were operations, obviously, in the drug war, and also there were many attacks on CJNP, to which the leaders had fallen to their death. 6 years before their peak in 1990, and before they were married, they had a child. This son was born in San Francisco, California. And because this life was all he quote unquote looked up to, he now sits in a maximum. And when I say that, I mean comparable to Alcatraz. In Colorado, ADX Florence, a high security penitentiary for terrorists, narcotraficantes, bombers, racial extremists, and more. Sounds fun. If that's your business, your line of business. 4 years after he was old enough to drink, Ruben Oseguera Gonzalez was found guilty of drug trafficking and arms trafficking. And because, or should I say just because, his parents, Nemesis, Oseguera, Cervantes, and his widow thought they were la gran mierda, you will probably never see his face again, because the Trump admin second era treats these drug war criminals like the terrorists they are. He will spend the rest of his life, at now 36 years old, in this maximum security prison. And by the way, today is the first Angel Family Day. a day which honors those who survived the loss of a loved one due to unsecured borders and immigrants who have found sanctuary, and wheresoever they freely demonstrate distaste for our ICE agents, uniformed officers, our free country, a democratic nation, and our president, Donald J. Trump. Write it down if you're still delulu that that's our president. What I'm referring to at this point is sanctuary cities, because like you can see at this point, Mencho has a kid in San Francisco, California, where his brother-in-law, his wife, and his child are all legal immigrants. But they are there for one purpose: to destroy our community with drugs from international crime. But why does the port matter? The drug war only affects border crossing, and it's aggravating tourism because border families are human. Tourists need safety, and drug war victims are real. Don't worry, I already told you. Nemesis Ruben, el Mencho Oseguera Cervantes is already past. He can't hurt you. Quick fact. Did you know the word Mencho means stain? I mean, not like wine, nor do I mean che. More like skid marks, mick marks. Think Ashrafino wash day, or whatever that is. And another fun fact, Mencho's brother-in-law that I mentioned moved to San Fran with the rest of the fam, right? Ruben's uncle, Rosalinda's biological brother, Abigail, also a cartel leader known as Queenie, formed Los Queenies. As soon as Sis was released, he was extradited to the U.S. For what? And I'll put 2025 here on the side for reference of what year that was. He could never, his family, yes, just like nephew, he has been charged with arms trafficking and gasp, drug trafficking. Abigail Gonzalez Valencia, nicknamed Queen in English, formed a sick cartel, which in English is the Queens. Never mind, el and los are references to male pronouns. Queenie and los Queenes. Queen and the Queens. They are dangerous. And as we quickly come to realize, deadly. See, Mencho has many supporters and found sympathy even in death. He is known internationally, and borders don't stop them. If this isn't a wake-up call to those sleeping on international crime, illegal immigrant, legal immigrant crime, let's kick some red pill knowledge. So I have example here. Where there are hoes, there are hoe activities. Now, as we see here in this case, my mini book, where there are criminals, there is crime. And just to kind of paraphrase what I mean, and where crime exists, victims. Don't wait for Puerto Vallarta to tell you. This is actually happening around the world. Drug war. Abigail, who is in his 50s, has international networks of plugs based in Canada, USA, Mexico, Europe, and Asia. El Mencho remained close to his brother-in-law. I mean, he was still married to El Queenie's sister, although he did have a side chick named Guadalupe Moreno Carrillo. I mean, Rosalinda wasn't an angel either. She had 3 kids outside their marriage. And I know that I sound harsh, It's not like El Mencho killed a YouTuber. Oh shit, he did. That's how El Pirata de Culiacan died. After a diss throwing shade on a drug lord. No way. Yes, he very did. In 2017, right before Christmas, Juan Luis was executed during a live stream. El Mencho, never mind that worthless fact, was an overachiever. He was confirmed to have trafficked cocaine in Mexico, Guatemala, and Colombia. Meth in Mexico, USA, Australia, and China. This information was gathered by surveillance. Speaking of surveillance, he had his side chick putting in work. That baby mama terrorist must have been hungry. Her mugshot shows a skinny snow bunny though, but they had everybody, I mean everybody working for them. The side piece, Carrillo, was seen smuggling meth at Gulfport, Mississippi. They came down, started investigating her tracks, and found her bestie to be a very good informant, disclosing where she had stayed in our beloved Mexico because she arrived alone. They knew where to find El Mencho. I know what you're thinking. What a piece of shit. That Rosalinda should have been better at picking her mins. Trust me, I know what you're gonna say. Only a cheater would need a girl like Carrillo. I'm outraged, but is he a HVM? Hell no. POS? Hell yeah. I agree. Let's be fact-based here. He is a man and worth $500 million US dollars during his life. Would you leave? She kind of did, to credit her. Then again, 500 million is really low number for a lifelong partner in my opinion. Just saying, because he died though. She might see enhanced charges. Because he died, she's still considered a leader. And because she's from the biological founders of its original crime organization, this criminal organization, she should get more charges. February 22nd, 2026. Everywhere you turn, there was a buzz. Drug lord is dead. Hours later, flights were canceled. Blockades where ambushes continued, left cars burning. Almost 3,000 troops were deployed to Jalisco. El Mencho was born in Michoacan, Mexico, in a town where they worked avocado farms. His in-laws' farms. And when the Valencia cartel switched to plantation, he dropped out of school. His bride at 17 enlisted him to work the marijuana fields. And she put him onto the drug game. And this was at 14 years old. They decided to resettle in San Francisco, California. He, Queenie, and Rosalinda, as cartel leaders, sank their teeth into U.S. soil. Their own cultivated drug trade was booming. South America, Mexico, USA. Again, cocaine and meth, the poison of choice, they pushed into unsuspecting communities, destroying their sense of security, quality of life, dreams of big money business. These impacts are still felt, as well as the aftermath. The live violence that echoes into our beautiful Latin America, where we are all with you. We are all with you. You are seen. You are heard. Keep going. You are strong. The worst has passed. You are still standing. You survived. CJNP is most notorious for murder, not for the trail of blood. This isn't a custodial School, this is a red pill channel. CJMP is most notorious for murder, not their trail of blood, for a trail of bodies. That's what's being left out of pro-opposition, anti-government rhetoric propagated by biased media with ideals of self-promotion and agenda. Mencho had 5 brothers, and all 5 were trash. And at 30 years old, he was deported, held in Texas, a Texas deportee jail, where he was sent back, only to find he shouldn't have messed with Texas. It was through the success of U.S. intelligence and special operations that they cornered his loke. As soon as that bitch, side piece, dropped that pin, narked him out, leaked the addy, they had him surrounded. Hell, they even called the Navy. Helicopters above, trucks on the ground. The shootout began, and much to their own dismay, El Mencho was quickly swooped up and captured. They were ready to fly him out, like Queenies flew him out to San Fran. And his smartest gunner had anti-aircraft arms. He just couldn't help himself. He couldn't wait to use it. I mean, dude was soaked or stoked. So he did. Stupid, shot dead El Mencho, and the butthurt grew. At first with threats to tourists, then the general civilian life. Mexico saw a dark cloud loom over Jalisco from smoking vehicles that blocked highways. Their attempted takeover caused more ruckus and worry than it did impact. Anything, because let's face it, your boy dead. They now know where your trap is, and because I'm American and this is Black History Month, I want you to hear this if you never heard this in your life, if you're listening. They found your plantation equals you're screwed. 3,000 more of those guys, and you're crying about one body. That's like self-snitching. Let's be honest. That was the brains of the operation. Plus, without that man telling you to breathe, you're dead. Keep playing. You're gonna die too. That's what I have to say about the Mencho killing in my mini book. And I think I said it all. I don't think there's any more things that needed to be said. That's why it's my journal, personal journal. And I hope you enjoyed the read. If you did, give it a thumbs up, like, comment, share, subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. My son de front. Bye-bye.